Well, I'm just a good old American boy with a heart that's red, white, and true. Dreaming of the girl with the red hair and freckles and her eyes like the skies of blue.
Country music.
Yeah, I grew up in Texas, so.
All right.
Keep her safe from the homies in the wrong side of town where they're smoking the reefer and acting like clowns. Keep that pretty white dress from getting dirty and brown, cause that's the American way.
Welcome back.
Woo!
Real Talk Radio, RTPR. The revolution will not be televised, it will be heard. There is an old war that has reopened old wounds, sparking new events that are still very traditional.
Damn right!
We are now returning to the myths of racial warfare. We did not get Donald Trump out of that office soon enough. A lot of people are now either brainwashed or whitewashed, so to speak. Everybody's pointing the finger at each other. There's a lot of misunderstandings. There's a lot of sensitivity in subject matter. Protests are getting violent. Everything seems to be going back to the 1950s and 60s in a high-tech generation. This makes it more dangerous. What up, everybody? We're talking about racism. We're talking about what's going on right now. We're talking about this entire Black Lives Matter movement. It's gotten stronger. It's gotten stronger because abuse of authority has started to become stronger. In the midst of a pandemic, it's very coincidental that these events suddenly take place right after we're just starting to kind of re-normalize our original ways. Everybody's starting to go back to work. Actors are starting to act again. Singers are starting to sing again. Studios are reopening. But there is still a problem. Everybody's become more separated now. Sitting in our homes for days and months, it just wasn't the best idea. I feel like there must have been no other way, but we had to do something to keep the pandemic from spreading. Who would have thought that a whole nother form of war would come out of this pandemic or be based on the events that happened during the pandemic? But that's what's happening right now. We are now returning to the race war. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. If this wasn't such a dangerous incident happening right now, I would honestly have to say that this is laughable.
I ain't scared of you, motherfucker.
We have not learned, people. We've not learned throughout history. This is proving it. We hide our inner selves. We hide ourselves. We hide the truths, and it takes a lot of isolation, a lot of reflection time before you finally start to come to terms with who you truly are on the inside.
Hate you people.
Yeah, I figured that out.
When the 9 to 5 stops, the whole world that you once knew stops. There is nothing else to do but reflect. Some of us have done that, but we haven't done it for the better.
I'm going to pass along some education to you.
The first thing I want people to understand is you have to look at the timeline behind all of this. Now, I'm going to lead you guys into your own thoughts because I'm not the type of person that ultimately tries to give you the information. I try to kind of hint around things and let you figure it out for yourself. I mean, that's how you learn. As children, our teachers never just gave us the answer. They taught us in ways that helped us figure it out for ourselves. I don't think this situation requires any teachers or teachers' aides or anything like that. We're not mentally at behavioral disorder, BD, learning disorder status, LD. You know what I mean?
Education.
I think that a lot of us are denying what's really happening. We want to believe that this is not something that our own system could have set up. We want to believe that this is not something that they're doing to purposefully separate us. And so anybody who's actually telling this is being victimized by the people who deny, or even people who might be, kind of racist themselves and just don't just don't like the fact that people are kind of speaking out on it because they're afraid that the so-called privilege that Caucasians often receive will end up being fought against.
And y'all niggas are gay.
Or fought for, depending on what side you're on. So we have a big problem. And the biggest thing right now is that you have to understand that the mind is the most powerful weapon that you could ever use over any gun, over any bomb. It's just that once you match the mind with your physical status, things can get a lot worse. Okay, now the government has proved this many, many times over throughout history. What we haven't done is prove our own power within ourselves. And that actually starts with your mentality. That actually starts with re-education.
Education.
That actually starts with knowing certain things that were lies that we believed when we grew up versus what is the truth that has been hidden from us. Finding ways to seek out those truths beyond mass media, because behind the mass media doors of truth are just simply more lies buried under the truth. People, what you have to understand is that this is psychological warfare. There's no such thing as racism. There really isn't. The media trends that. Every part of the media trends the word racism. Once you understand the meaning of that word, you'll understand that that word shouldn't even be in existence. There is no racism. There's no racism but what man creates. What this is psychological warfare, spiritual warfare.
Damn right!
That's what this is. All the psychological effects, the gaslighting, everything that's happening is affecting the spirit of the people. The problem behind all of this is everybody's just clamoring on top of each other. Nobody's stepping back and watching the bigger picture. I've been stepping back watching the bigger picture. Now, first of all, I've been living in a predominantly white community for the last 13 years of my life. So trust me, all the events that people are starting to wake up to now, I was already seeing them all these years. When I would talk to people about it, it was like, I'm crazy and these things aren't happening because the world is no longer like that. It's no longer the past. People are not racist anymore.
Take a big step back
and all of
and
this.
literally fuck your own face.
2009, the only reason we have I believe that the only reason we have a black president, or had one at that time, was to shut the people up. To get people to stop questioning, is the system racist, by putting the face of this man, who is also a relative to the Bush family.
Come on, man. Damn.
You know, you have to have certain ties to actually be president. It's not just about how many years of service you did or how many years you were an American citizen, how old you are. It's a lot more to it, including connections. Did I believe in Obama, by the way? I'm not sure if I did, because first of all, I already knew why Obama was put in front of the people. So the biggest question I had beyond his presidency was, what is he going to do? Or what was he going to be allowed to do? Because what a lot of people don't know is that the president doesn't always have, if barely at all, the ultimate say-so of, I'm going to make sure this happens, so I'm going to go out and do it. You know, there's a Supreme Court, there's a system, there's electorals, there's a lot of things that fall into place. Just like how bills get passed around up to the president is the same thing. So you have to understand overall that a lot of the events have been, even just over the past years, have been leading up to a psychological warfare situation. We are, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of like unwrapping something here. We are in the midst of an emergency because
God, please,
what's going to come soon. And I told people that this was going to start happening. Okay, I told people this was going to start happening back in 2009. I saw, when I go online, I observe society. I observe the minds of these people through their posts. And I started overall, as a person who likes to step back and look at the overall collective of society itself, just to see where the world's going to go in the near future. I was deeply disturbed. I had become deeply disturbed at what I was seeing on the internet. I was seeing a lot of carelessness and a lot of people who are just trying to get popular and just not being awakened or aware to what's going on in the world, what's going on around them. Even friendships. I've seen a lot of friendships where people just aren't really good friends anymore to people, you know, and that's something I've experienced my whole life. But when I started seeing that all these people are starting to, like, more and more and more of society is just starting to become in this situation where it's like, you know, if you cared any less, you kill yourself. I can already see from what's happening now where we're headed. That's how I made that's how I made my predictions, and people didn't believe me. I said that something would happen to R. Kelly. I said that, you know, Michael Jackson wasn't going to do that show, that something was wrong, didn't seem right. The title, everything about that This Is It didn't seem right. I told people that there's going to be a point in time where the system is going to create so much chaos that they're going to make you fall into a physical and spiritual panic, and then what's going to happen is it's going to give them the excuse that they wanted to take away your gun rights, your protection rights, which is what's about to happen, guys. Everything that I had predicted and tried to tell people back, you know, years ago is actually kind of happening in a certain order. Not in the exact order that I predicted it or figured it would happen, but it's happening, whether in the order or not. And so now with everything happening in kind of the way that I said it was going to happen, I can't continue to sit down and pretend like I don't have the ability to kind of give a little information that might help premeditate a way to prevent this war, because a civil war is coming, people. A new civil war, which could also be like a third world war. Our technology, our ability to understand violence, our heartlessness. The more we start to care less emotionally and spiritually, the more dangerous we internally become. I mean, you got people that witness deaths, and the only thing they do is put it on Facebook. Some of these people even laugh when they see somebody getting beat to death. I mean, that's what we're living in right now, y'all.
Take it home with you.
So we're becoming animalistic in every way, spiritually, physically, mentally. There's also a lot of setups. There's also a lot of things happening out there where looting is happening, and it's not even our people. It's not even black people. There's an organization out there that sparks these loots. Okay.
What the fuck you mean?
And we as black folks, I believe that we as black folks have honestly learned from the LA riots and other things, what to do and what not to do in a situation like this. But I also do know that the system has a way of timing things when they are preparing people for any kind of mass panic or anything. The system likes to create fear because they know that fear is going to not only make people unsure of themselves and more dependent on what the system is saying, but to turn against each other. You're right, he's wrong, I'm right, you're wrong. You know what I mean? And it's becoming very dangerous. I can't even walk down. I literally can't remember a single time after the Black Lives Matter thing happened, after everything that's been happening with this whole race, this psychological warfare. I can't think of a time after that I've literally tried to be nice to white people in my community, which is predominantly white, and them actually, like they used to, actually at least smiling and say hi or something. You know, people that don't even know who I am or don't have my Twitter, don't know what I do. Now it's like when I walk the streets, white people already think I'm going to do something. I get looked at funny. Some of these guys are walking around with legal guns in their back pockets because there's this whole fear of black retaliation.
Why you got to kill all my men? Why you got to kill me?
People are already thinking about it. You know what I mean? So that's a very dangerous thing, because what happens is now you're set in a state of hypervigilance. You know, all of your threat assessment levels are now locked into a position that's way too high. Okay. And, you need to understand that what's going to happen eventually is you're going to lead yourself into a position of, you know, witnessing connections that aren't even actually there. And you're going to cause people hurt. Black people are going to be hurt because you are too scared to stop and be conscious of what's dangerous, and who's just an everyday person who's helping try to prevent this war. You can't look at every black person on the street now like they hate you, because I'm witnessing that. And for that reason, I now have to carry weapons wherever I go because I no longer feel safe. And I'm alone out here. I really don't got friends at all. I got a crew, I got a team in the music industry and all of that, but I don't really have like friends. I only have like